I overheard her laughing with her friends. He's just a roommate. I'm still single. That night, I quietly packed my things and left a note. You said I was just a roommate. I agree. Roommates don't pay for your lifestyle. The next day, I cut every payment. She laughed until the bills stopped getting paid. I'm Jake, 28M. My girlfriend. Well, I guess ex now, Lauren, 26F. We'd been together just over 3 years and living together for a little more than one. Shared apartment, shared routines, shared life. Or so I thought. This happened last Friday. Lauren had a few of her friends over after work. I got home later than usual because I stayed to finish up a project, figured I'd keep my head down, grab a beer, and let them have their girls' night. I didn't announce myself. I kicked my shoes off quietly and went to the bedroom to change. That's when I heard it. They were in the living room, laughing loud, wine glasses clinking. One of her friends asked something about us, about me, and Lauren laughed in that sharp, mean way she only used with them. Not her cute laugh. The other one. She said, clear as day, he's basically just a roommate. I'm still single. More laughter. Someone joked about free rent. Someone else said, must be nice. Lauren didn't correct them. She leaned into it. He's good for now, she added. Pays the bills. Doesn't ask questions. I stood there, frozen, staring at the stupid laundry basket like it had personally betrayed me. My chest felt weirdly calm, like something shut off instead of exploding. No anger. No shock. Just this cold clarity settling in. For context, I pay the rent, utilities, groceries, her car insurance after she fell behind, streaming services, random Amazon orders that somehow always ended up charged to my card. She'd always joked that I was stable, and she was figuring herself out. I thought that was teamwork. Apparently, it was a sponsorship. I didn't storm out. I didn't confront her. I didn't even go back into the living room. I sat on the edge of the bed and listened to them laugh for another 5 minutes, just to make sure I'd heard right. That night, Lauren came in tipsy and annoyed that I hadn't come out to say hi. Asked why I was being weird. I told her I was tired. She rolled her eyes, called me boring, and passed out scrolling on her phone. I didn't sleep. By morning, I knew exactly what I was going to do. Saturday morning felt surreal, like I was moving through someone else's life. Lauren woke up late, hungover, complaining about her head and asking if we had any ibuprofen. I handed it to her without a word. She smiled, kissed my cheek, and said, "You're the best." That almost made me laugh. Once she left for brunch with the same friends she'd been laughing with the night before, I got to work. I didn't rage pack. I didn't throw things into trash bags like in movies. I moved slowly, methodically. Clothes first. The stuff I actually wore, not the things she'd bought for me because she thought my style needed help. My old hoodies, work jeans, boots. Each folded like this was just another normal Saturday chore. Then my desk. Laptop, external hard drive, documents. I found receipts I'd kept out of habit. Rent confirmations, utility payments, the deposit I'd covered when we moved in because she didn't have it yet. Funny how that never came back. The apartment looked less like ours with every box. I realized most of the furniture was technically mine too, but I left it. I didn't want to take things she could argue about. I wanted clean lines. No debates. Around noon, I opened my banking apps. I removed her from my credit card as an authorized user. Canceled the streaming services I paid for. Scheduled the rent payment cancellation for the following month. Utilities too. Her car insurance? Gone. Phone bill I'd been helping with? Done. Each tap felt quiet. Final. I didn't drain accounts or do anything illegal. I just stopped pretending I was responsible for someone who told her friend she was single. I wrote the note last. I stared at the blank page longer than I expected. I didn't want to sound bitter, or dramatic, or like I was trying to win, so I kept it simple. I overheard you last night. You said I was just a roommate. I agree. Roommates don't pay for each other's lifestyles. I've moved out and canceled everything I was covering. You'll need to handle things from here. Take care. I left it on the kitchen counter, right where she dropped her keys every day. When I closed the door behind me, there was no big emotional moment. No tears. Just relief. Like I'd been holding my breath for months without realizing it. She didn't even know yet. That was the strangest part. I was halfway to my brother's place when my phone started buzzing. First call, ignored. Second call, ignored. Then texts started stacking up on my lock screen. Where are you? Why is the Wi-Fi not working? Did you seriously cancel Netflix? I pulled over at a gas station just to breathe for a second. Not because I was tempted to respond, but because I could feel the shift happening. The moment where confusion turns into panic. Where the joke stops being funny. I didn't reply. An hour later, my brother helped me carry boxes into his spare room. He didn't ask many questions. Just said, "You can stay as long as you need." Like it was the most normal thing in the world. That alone told me I'd done the right thing. By evening, Lauren finally read the note. I know because my phone lit up like it was possessed. Calls. Voicemails. Texts swinging wildly between tones. What the hell is this note? Are you being serious right now? This is so immature, Jake. You're really going to abandon me over a joke? That one almost got me. Almost. Then came the follow-up. I can't even log into the electric account. There it was. Not why did you leave? Not I'm sorry. Not even can we talk. Just logistics. Just inconvenience. I finally replied once. One message. You said I was just a roommate. I'm treating it that way. She called immediately. I didn't answer. Instead, I listened to the voicemail she left 30 minutes later. Her voice had changed. Less sharp. More frantic. Jake, okay, I get it, you're upset. But this is extreme. You can't just cut everything off. I have rent due. I didn't mean it like that. They were joking. You know how they are. I sat on the edge of the bed, phone in my hand, feeling strangely steady. She wasn't apologizing for what she said. She was panicking because reality had arrived faster than she expected. Another text came in right after. Can you at least pay this month and we'll talk? That was the moment. Not the night I overheard her. Not the packing. Not the note. The moment I realized she didn't see me as a partner who'd been hurt. Just a safety net that had suddenly disappeared. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. By Sunday morning, she stopped pretending to be confused and switched straight to angry. I woke up to a paragraph-long text that read like a performance review. I can't believe you do this without talking to me first. This is financial manipulation. You're trying to control me because you're insecure. That one actually made me smirk. The irony was impressive. She followed it up with, my friends think this is a huge red flag, by the way. Of course they did. Apparently, those same friends had no issue with me being just a roommate, as long as the lights stayed on and the fridge stayed full. But the second I acted accordingly, I was the villain. Around noon, she showed up at my brother's place unannounced. I wasn't home. Thank God. My brother texted me, your ex is here. She's pissed. I asked what she said. He replied, she wants to talk like adults and also called you cheap. In the same sentence. That tracked. Later, I listened to another voicemail she left while pacing outside. Jake, this is insane. You're really going to blow up a 3-year relationship over something I said to my friends? Everyone vents. You're acting like I cheated or something. You're not innocent either, you know. You liked being needed. There it was. The rewrite. I liked paying her bills. I liked being minimized. I liked being invisible as long as I was useful. What she didn't realize was that the moment she said roommate, she'd already ended it. I just happened to hear the part she thought was private. By that evening, the tone changed again. Can you come back so we can talk face to face? This is embarrassing. Not heartbreaking. Not painful. Embarrassing. I imagined her explaining to the landlord why the rent wouldn't clear. Explaining to her friends why the roommate suddenly stopped funding brunches and Ubers and online shopping. That night, I blocked her number. Not out of spite. Out of necessity. Because I knew if I let the conversation continue, she'd try to negotiate. To guilt. To twist it into a misunderstanding where I'd somehow end up paying one more month, just to be fair. And I was done being fair to someone who never saw me as equal. Monday was the first day it really hit her. I know because she emailed me. Not texted. Not called from a friend's phone. An actual email, subject line and all, like we were coworkers instead of people who used to share a bed. Subject, we need to handle this responsibly. She wrote that the rent payment must have glitched. That the landlord had reached out. That utilities were showing past due notices. That she hadn't realized how much I was handling. And that this was all very overwhelming. Still no apology. She framed it like a group project where one person suddenly stopped pulling their weight without warning. No acknowledgement that she'd publicly demoted me to a convenience. I didn't respond. By Tuesday, mutual friends started reaching out. Mostly her side. People I'd been polite to but never close with. Hey man, Lauren's really stressed. She didn't mean it like that. You know how she jokes. Funny how everyone understood her words except me, the person they were about. One friend suggested I be the bigger person and at least cover half the rent until things settle. I asked if Lauren planned to start treating me like a boyfriend again in exchange. No reply. That afternoon, I found out she tried to reverse some of the canceled payments. She couldn't. Everything was in my name. Always had been. She just never noticed. Or never cared. The real turning point came that night when my brother showed me something on his phone. A screenshot someone had sent him. Lauren had posted on her private story. When men can't handle jokes and decide to financially punish you instead, upside down face. That was it. No sadness. No self-reflection. Just spin. I felt something in me fully shut off then. Like the last loose thread finally snapped. I didn't feel angry anymore. I felt embarrassed for her. Because anyone watching closely could see what was really happening. The laughter stopped when the money did. The roommate joke wasn't funny without the perks. And for the first time since this started, I slept through the night. By Wednesday, the reality she'd been laughing about finally arrived. She unblocked me. I know because a text came through anyway, slipping past whatever pride she had left. Please don't do this like this. No punctuation. No attitude. Just fear. I didn't answer. A few hours later, she tried again. I talked to the landlord. He says if rent isn't paid by Friday, there'll be late fees. I can't cover all of it right now. There it was. Not I hurt you. Not I was wrong. Just numbers and deadlines. I found out later from a mutual acquaintance that she'd spent the previous 2 days scrambling, calling her parents, asking friends if she could borrow a little, selling clothes online she'd bought with my card and never worn twice. The same friends who laughed on Friday night were suddenly very quiet. Turns out, still single doesn't come with utilities. That evening, she showed up at my brother's place again. This time she cried. He told me later she kept saying, I didn't think he'd actually leave. Like that was the shocking part. Not what she said. Not how she treated me. Just that actions had consequences. She asked if I'd come back, just until she got on her feet. Just until. That phrase used to work on me. Just until her next paycheck. Just until she figured things out. Just until things felt more balanced. Just forever. For the first time, I felt genuinely detached. Like I was hearing about someone else's problem. I told my brother to tell her no, and to stop coming by. That night, I deleted old photos off my phone. Not angrily. Carefully. Trips I paid for. Dinners I planned. Moments that felt real at the time, but now looked different with context. I realized something uncomfortable but freeing. She didn't lose me when I left. She lost me the moment she stopped respecting me. She just didn't expect to feel it so fast. And honestly, that wasn't my problem anymore. Friday came whether she was ready or not. I didn't hear about it directly from her. I heard about it through silence first. No more angry texts. No more guilt-tripping emails. Just nothing. That told me more than any message could. Then my brother got a text from a mutual friend. Hey, did Jake seriously move out for good? Apparently, Lauren hadn't told anyone the full story. She'd framed it as space and cooling off. A temporary disagreement. But once rent bounced and the landlord started calling, the truth had a way of leaking out. Late that afternoon, I finally checked my email again. There was one from Lauren. Short this time. I paid what I could. I don't know what I'm going to do. I read it twice and felt nothing. No urge to fix it. No pull to step back in. Just distance. That night, my brother and I grabbed beers on his balcony. The air was cool, city quiet in that end-of-week way. He asked me if I was okay. Really okay. I thought about it longer than I expected. I think I am, I said. And I meant it. Because for the first time in a long time, I wasn't bracing myself. I wasn't waiting for the next expense, the next favor, the next way I'd have to prove my worth by being useful. She messaged me again around midnight. I never thought you'd walk away like this. That one almost sounded honest. I typed a response. Deleted it. Typed another. Deleted that too. What I wanted to say was, I didn't walk away. You pushed me out when you decided I was a joke. But she wouldn't hear that. Not really. So I didn't reply. Somewhere between the second beer and the city lights flickering on, I realized something else. I didn't miss her. I missed the version of myself that thought being taken for granted was the same thing as being needed. Saturday morning, I woke up to a notification I didn't expect. Lauren had changed her tune online. No vague memes. No men or trash posts. Just a long captioned photo of her coffee on the balcony, one I'd paid for, talking about growth, hard lessons, and learning who really supports you when things get tough. Comments were split. Some friends hyped her up. Some asked quiet questions. A few said nothing at all. What she didn't say was that support had been automatic, not mutual, that it disappeared the second she laughed about it. Around noon, she finally messaged me again. Can we just talk? Not about money. About us. That was new. And too late. I stared at the message longer than I should have. Not because I wanted to go back, but because I was genuinely curious how she planned to explain 3 years of entitlement as a misunderstanding. I agreed to talk. Public place. Coffee shop near my brother's place. She showed up dressed carefully. Softer. Less sharp. The version of her that knew how to pull sympathy without asking outright. She started with tears. Said she felt blindsided. Said she didn't realize how dependent things had become. Said her friends exaggerated everything, and she'd been trying to fit in. I listened. Didn't interrupt. Then I asked one question. Why didn't you correct them when you called me a roommate? She opened her mouth. Closed it. Looked down. I didn't think you'd hear it, she said. That answer told me everything. Not that she didn't mean it. Not that it was a joke. Just that I wasn't supposed to know my place. I stood up before she could pivot. I'm not mad, I said. I'm just done. She reached for my hand. I stepped back. As I walked out, I felt light. Not victorious. Not smug. Just finished. And for the first time since I met her, I knew I wasn't walking away from something good. I was walking back to myself. The fallout didn't end when I walked out of that coffee shop. It just went quieter. Over the next week, I heard about her in fragments. Mutual friends mentioning she'd picked up extra shifts. That she was suddenly rethinking priorities. That she was couch hopping a bit because the apartment felt too expensive now. Funny how it had only started feeling that way after I left. She tried one last angle. An email, late Sunday night. I get it now. I really do. I was careless with your feelings. I took you for granted. I don't want to lose you as a person, even if we're not together. That line used to destroy me. The idea of being kept in someone's life, just in a smaller, more convenient role. This time, it didn't. I realized something uncomfortable but important. She wasn't reaching out because she'd grown. She was reaching out because her life had gotten harder, and I'd always been the easiest fix. I didn't reply. Instead, I signed the lease on a small one-bedroom a few blocks from my brother's place. Nothing fancy. Clean. Quiet. Mine. I bought a cheap couch off Facebook Marketplace and ate takeout on the floor the first night, feeling more at peace than I had in years. I changed my routines. Cooked again. Slept better. Laughed without feeling like I was performing. And slowly, the story stopped being about her at all. One night, scrolling absent-mindedly, I saw she'd posted again. Something about learning independence the hard way. No mention of me. No jokes. No bitterness. Just survival. I didn't feel satisfaction. Or revenge. I felt distance. The kind you only get when something no longer has power over you. I realized the quiet truth of all of it wasn't that I'd left dramatically. It was that once I stopped paying, the relationship couldn't afford to exist. It's been a little over a month now. I ran into her once at the grocery store. Total accident. Same aisle, same awkward pause. She looked tired. Not dramatic, not broken, just worn down in a way I hadn't seen before. Real life had replaced the curated version. She smiled like she wanted to say something meaningful. Maybe apologize. Maybe reminisce. Maybe test if the door was still unlocked. I nodded, polite, distant, and kept walking. That was it. No closure speech. No final conversation. No cinematic ending. And honestly, that felt right. I don't hate her. I don't wish her struggle. I hope she figures things out. I hope she learns that respect isn't something you joke about when you think it's guaranteed. As for me, I've learned something quieter but more important. If someone can laugh about minimizing you when they think you're not listening, they've been doing it internally for a long time. You just happened to hear the honest version. Walking away wasn't revenge. Canceling payments wasn't punishment. It was alignment. She called me a roommate. I agreed. And roommates don't fund someone else's life while being told they don't matter. I don't feel bitter when I think about it now. I feel clear. Sometimes the cleanest ending isn't a fight or a breakup talk. Sometimes it's just deciding to stop participating in a role you never agreed to play. And that's where this ended for me.